Have you ever knelt to pray, hoping to feel the warmth of divine presence, but instead walked away more tired, more empty than when you began? If you're a chosen one, called to walk a spiritual path, you may be unknowingly giving your power away. There are spiritual traps, hidden sins that silently drain your energy. And the worst part, you might be committing them every time you seek to connect with God. In this video, we're going to uncover the 9 spiritual sins that steal your energy every time you pray. And trust me, once you recognize them, you'll never pray the same way again. You'll feel restored, uplifted, and powerful. But before we dive deep, if you've landed here at the perfect time, if this message finds you right when you needed it most, that's not a coincidence. Type 1111 in the comment section right now to affirm your divine alignment and open yourself to blessings beyond understanding. 1. Praying from a place of fear, not faith. When fear becomes the driving force behind your prayer, you're not truly communicating with the divine. You're projecting worry into the spiritual realm. You may think you're praying, but what you're really doing is broadcasting anxiety, lack, and mistrust into the universe. You're essentially saying, I'm in danger. I don't trust that I am supported. I don't believe things are working for my good. Fear-based prayers have a desperate tone. They sound like begging. They echo with phrases like, please don't let this happen, or I'm so scared this will go wrong. These words may seem harmless, but the emotional energy behind them is low, heavy, and resistant. This energy builds walls, not bridges. It blocks the very blessings you're asking for. On the other hand, prayers rooted in faith speak a different language altogether. They radiate with certainty, peace, and alignment. Faith carries a frequency that rises far above fear. It vibrates with expectancy, not desperation. When you approach prayer from a place of knowing that you are already supported, knowing that you are already seen and heard, you align yourself with grace, not scarcity. You activate a divine inheritance that is always available but often unopened. The chosen ones understand this. They don't beg the Creator. They don't cry out from panic. They speak with divine confidence, knowing that their energy shapes their reality. This is how you protect your spirit, your focus, and your frequency, by letting your prayers be led by trust, not terror. 2. Holding on to unforgiveness while you pray. One of the most overlooked yet spiritually devastating blocks to effective prayer is unforgiveness. Whether you're holding bitterness towards someone else or silently condemning yourself for past mistakes, the emotional weight of resentment acts like an anchor tied around your soul. You might lift your hands in prayer, but your spirit can't ascend because it's still dragging the heaviness of what you haven't released. Imagine trying to fly while clutching heavy chains. You may flap your wings, but you won't rise. That's what it feels like to pray while harboring emotional poison. No matter how beautiful your words are, they can't reach their full spiritual altitude if your heart is still holding on to old wounds. Forgiveness is not about approving of what was done to you. It's not a free pass to those who hurt you. Rather, it's a sacred act of reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your spiritual clarity. It's saying, I choose to stop reliving this pain. I choose to be free. And sometimes that forgiveness must begin with you, letting go of the shame and guilt you've buried deep inside. You don't need a grand ritual to start the release. A sincere whisper of, I forgive and let go can create ripples in the spiritual realm. It clears the energy field, allowing divine light and guidance to flow more freely. Before you pray, cleanse your heart, do the inner housekeeping. It's not about being perfect, it's about being open. 3. Praying with a spirit of comparison. There's a subtle but powerful form of energy leakage that happens when you enter prayer while secretly measuring your life against someone else's. You see their success, their joy, their answered prayers, and instead of feeling inspired, you feel overlooked. You might not say it out loud, but a voice within wonders, why them? Why not me? This mindset may not seem dangerous at first, but spiritually, it's corrosive. It turns your heart inward, not upward. It dims your light by feeding envy and making you question your own worth. This silent comparison robs you of gratitude, the most potent spiritual amplifier there is. Without gratitude, your prayers lose their voltage. It's like trying to power a light bulb with a dead battery. What you often forget is that every visible blessing carries an invisible burden. You don't know what others had to endure to get what they have. You don't see the tears behind the smiles, the sacrifices behind the scenes. Their path isn't yours to covet, it's theirs to carry, and yours is sacred too. When you pray, do it from a place of wholeness, not deficiency. Remind yourself that your life is unfolding in perfect timing. What is meant for you is not lost, it's just not yet delivered. Don't contaminate your prayers with jealousy, elevate them with trust. The divine doesn't run out of blessings, there's more than enough for you. Your story is still being written, and your chapter of abundance is on the way. 4. Doubting while you speak divine words. There's a hidden contradiction that weakens many people's prayers, a misalignment between the words spoken and the beliefs held within. On the surface, you say things like, "I know God will make a way," but beneath the surface, your inner voice whispers, "But probably not for me." This internal dissonance is more than just a fleeting thought. It's an energetic mismatch that stops spiritual power from fully flowing through your words. When you pray with doubt quietly lodged in your heart, you create confusion in your energetic field. It's like giving the universe two opposing instructions at the same time. The results? Stagnation, frustration, and disappointment. 5. Rushing through the prayer without presence. In a fast-paced world, it's easy to fall into the trap of hurried spirituality, saying the right words without truly engaging the heart. You may check off prayer like it's a task on a to-do list, but spiritual connection doesn't work that way. When your body is speaking but your mind is racing through errands, your energy is fragmented. It's not that God doesn't hear you, it's that you're not fully there. Prayer is not just communication, it's communion. It's a soul-to-soul connection with the divine. And that requires presence. Without it, your words become noise rather than signal. God isn't swayed by poetic vocabulary or religious routines. What touches the divine is authenticity. It's not how long you pray, it's how real you are when you do. Slow down, speak like someone who knows they're being heard. Let every word come from your center, not your script. When you pray with presence, something sacred happens. Time stretches, peace descends, divine energy enters. It's not about formality, it's about feel. God leans in when you lean inward. So instead of rushing through your spiritual practice, allow yourself to be in it. Make space for sacred stillness. That's where miracles begin. 6. Using prayer to escape responsibility. Prayer is a sacred act, but it should never become a hiding place. Too often, people use prayer as a way to delay what must be done, to avoid the discomfort of change, or to pass off responsibility to a higher power while doing nothing themselves. They say, "Lord, fix my finances," but never create a budget. "Lord, heal my relationships," but never apologize or set healthy boundaries. These prayers may sound spiritual, but they lack power because they are incomplete. Prayer is not a substitute for effort. It is a catalyst for action. It's the fuel, not the vehicle. Real prayer is a divine partnership. It invites wisdom, strength, and clarity, but it still asks you to move your feet. The universe responds to those who take inspired action, not those who wait passively for miracles. Hoping without motion creates spiritual fatigue. You feel stuck, not because God isn't listening, but because you aren't stepping. When you pray, ask not just for solutions, but for courage. Ask for the insight to see what needs to change and the determination to do it. That's when your energy begins to shift. That's when doors open. When heaven sees you willing to act even just a little, Grace meets you halfway. True prayer rises from the soul, not the ego. It doesn't chase approval. It longs for alignment. It seeks healing, growth, and understanding, not recognition or superiority. When your heart is open and your motives are pure, your prayer has weight, even if it's just a single word whispered in silence. But when ego takes the lead, even the most eloquent prayer loses its power. That's why self-awareness is crucial before prayer. Ask yourself gently, is this request coming from my true self or from my insecurities? Am I praying from love or from pride? The answer will guide you. When you align with your soul, prayer becomes not just a practice, but a portal to transformation. 8. Neglecting to listen after you pray. Prayer is a two-way conversation. Most people speak, ask, plead, and then walk away. But how can you receive answers if you never sit still to listen? Energy is stolen not just in what you say, but in what you miss. The guidance, the signs, the whispers of the Spirit, they require silence. After you speak, be still, be open. That's when the real prayer begins. 9. Praying while out of alignment with your actions. You can't pray for peace and live in chaos. You can't ask for love and sow hate. Your life must mirror your request. When your words contradict your ways, the energy clashes and your spirit becomes confused. This dissonance drains your energy fast. Your spirit is wise. It knows when your intentions and lifestyle are at war. Chosen one, walk in integrity. Let your life be the prayer, and your words will simply echo what your actions already proclaim. You are chosen. Your prayers are powerful, but power must be protected. Every word you speak to the divine is a seed, but it is your energy, your frequency, that determines whether it grows. Avoid these 9 traps. Guard your spirit. Speak from faith, not fear. Let your prayers be sacred, not scripted. And remember, you are not alone. The universe listens. The Creator knows your name. This is the Alchemy of Awareness channel. If this message reached you at just the right time, if you felt something shift in your soul, type 1111 in the comments right now. That is your sign, your portal. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're walking the spiritual path. We're building a powerful community of the awakened, the intuitive, and the chosen. Until next time, protect your light, pray with power, and never forget who you are.